The description is like he's a punky little rebellious, loud little teenager, and I was like, oh, he looks like fun. And when the director came out, he said, "You ready to audition?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to try for this guy." And the director smiled and he said, "I'm glad you said that, because I kind of had an idea. I thought you might be really good for him." And at the time, incidentally, at the time, this was Justin Cook. Justin Cook, who you guys may or may not know from the Hockey Show and a handful of other shows, he was originally going to be directing Full Metal Alchemist. And then partway through the process, he got promoted, and then Mike McFarland and Colin Clinkenbeard stepped in to direct. But it was Justin that held the audition. And when I went into the room, it was kind of funny. Justin said, in a month or so is a big convention called Otakon. It's in Baltimore. And Larkin Seal was going to be the musical guest. And Aniplex, the company that owns Full Metal, wanted to premiere the first episode in English at Otakon. So Funimation was like, they were kind of under the gun to get a recording of the first episode. Even if it wasn't going to be the finished, even if it wasn't going to be the final characters. They just had to get something done to show. So I went into the studio, and rather than audition, Justin had me record the whole first episode as Ed. And at the time, again, remember, I didn't know anything about Full Metal. And so I started record. For all I knew, this little kid in a red coat was in 3 episodes. I mean, I didn't know anything about it. And as we started through that first episode, I thought, wow, he's like the main guy. He's like the Full Metal Alchemist of Full Metal Alchemist. And so I started getting excited about it. And they showed the episode. They still didn't tell us, they didn't give us they didn't make the decision yet. So months went by before we knew who was going to be playing who. And the more months that went by, the more time that went by, I was getting more and more nervous because I was hearing more and reading more, and I started to realize what a really big show it was and what a really, really great series. And so I was starting to get kind of nervous, But ultimately, they decided to have me do it, and that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Question? Yes, sir.